Pakistan election on 8th February 2024 are just around the corner, but there have been so many suspicions and speculation whether they are going to happen or whether they will be free and fair. Pakistanis all around the world are very upset by the growing body of news coming from Pakistan that a particular party has been cornered and there are atrocities perpetrated on them by what appears by a military propelled caretaker government agenda. We have been speaking to people across the world, and especially in overseas Pakistanis diaspora in United Kingdom, and we have some of the finest minds here today who will be discussing and giving their statements on the current situation since the two draconian decision against Imran Khan yesterday and today of imprisonment, him and his wife in the second case, has actually bolted everybody around the United Kingdom. We have Dr. Imran Khan, who is a very well-known doctor, but also a political activist and human rights activist who has been a political leader, community leader here in the country. And very warm welcome, Mr. Khan. Dr. Imran Khan, thank you very much for joining us today from your busy schedule. I know as a very busy surgeon, you have a lot of appointments of your patients and still gave us your time. You've been observing and monitoring what is happening in Pakistan as a leader of the Pakistani doctors in the Northern Europe, and especially these two decisions of the court against Imran Khan and what is happening in the country before the next elections. So what would you like to say it's going on in Pakistan?
Suhail, thank you very much for asking me to comment on that. To be honest with you, it's very shameful what's happening in Pakistan. And as an overseas Pakistani who's living in this part of the world, we all feel bad about it. And this is not the first time. If you look around, last 70 years of Pakistan have been like this. Since Liaquat Ali's assassination, we have faced this problem repeatedly. There have been so many politicians have been actually been dealt badly by the courts of Pakistan that we feel it's difficult to trust what's going on. If you remember, Bhutto Saab was hanged basically, and it was called later on, the same courts admitted it to be a judicial murder. And then after that, Nawaz Sharif, the way he was treated, and he had to leave the country. The problem is, and now it's Imran Khan. So every time whoever steps out of government because of the difference with the establishment, they are then put into the prison and they are dealt very badly by the courts. And what it's doing is it's taking the trust away from the courts. And I really feel bad at present. I've still got hope that a person like Qazi Faiz Isa, who is a very upright and looks like to me from outside as a very honest judge, would take notice of all this and try to restore the judiciary, dominance of judiciary in Pakistan. If you see the present case, the first case against Imran Khan about the one which was to do with Cypher,
Yeah, that's right.
yes, I understand. As a prime minister, you are privy to a lot of secrets of the country. Yes, he should not have used that document in the public forum the way he used it for his political gain. But there is a way to deal with it, and they should have dealt it like that. Now they've lost the credibility even in that. And this other one about the money, you remember the same thing happened to Nawaz Sharif. There were lots of financial allegation. But I also blame ourselves, Suhail, because in the past, all those people who are now recognizing that there are forces in Pakistan which are derailing democracy in Pakistan, they in the past have supported the same forces. And this has happened repeatedly, to be honest.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for expressing the concerns, yours and your own constituency of overseas Pakistanis. But let me just unpack this two argument that you extended about the Cypher case. And you said that probably the Prime Minister is the privacy, has a privy to certain state secrets. But when there is a foreign land or the superpower ask or give direction to oust an elected prime minister, and what a prime minister is supposed to do, that's not a state secret.
Uh,
I mean, it is an
yeah.
insult to any independent and sovereign country that in a proper communique which has been minuted, somebody asks you as if you are a servant or a slave, and I mean, rather than the entire state and all the institutions standing up for that right of dignity and respect, we are just making Imran Khan basically a pariah dog.
I think your argument is right in one way, but I think the way I see it also is there is a way to deal with these things. Using just an emotional way of reacting to these things is not the right way. There are places, there are norms in the international society, the way one need to deal with it, and I think he should have dealt it that way. But then again, when that happened, I think this should be tried in an open court, and I think there should have been people should hear what the arguments are from both sides. We know now, we've been told that the ambassador from where this originated, he has given statement that he never ever mentioned that way, the way it was shown to all of us. But those things can only be clarified if judiciary was above board. And I think everyone should be treated the same way, whether it's a politician, whether it is a person from the establishment. Military, judges, and politicians should all be treated the same way, like every other citizen.
Yes, yes, I think you're right that probably tactics could have been different, but of course, we what Mr. Khan knew, we don't know that, and we can only make conjectures on how things were. Just moving on from there, do you think that the state of affairs in the judicial system of Pakistan will dissuade the overseas Pakistanis to trust the Pakistani judicial system and any investment that they want to do in Pakistan, because it appears that there is no law at all at present.
I think you are pointing to a very important issue there, that Pakistanis living abroad has got big stake in Pakistan. And I think these type of acts, actually, they lose the trust in the country. But I think at the end of the day, the way I see it is that in order for us to get that confidence back, we need a proper democratic government in Pakistan, which should come through a fair elections, and then we can see that they can restore us back. Otherwise, we are going to play this game. And to be honest with you, my appeal to the politicians is, I was listening to the speeches even in the last couple of days of other politicians. The worst tragedy is that when one politician is being dealt badly, the others actually support the establishment for that rather than criticizing it. Same Imran did when Nawaz Sharif was being dealt badly, and now same thing is happening to him with other politicians, both People's Party, Muslim League, they all do the same. And I think they do not learn their lesson, because this is going to be repeated, and this has been repeated so many times in front of our eyes. And they need to come together if they want to do something, and they know that what is the common factor here, what is the common enemy, who are the people who are actually derailing democracy. I think they need to all unite together for this.
Yeah, you really hit it on the nail, because there is an elephant in the room and nobody's talking about that, because there is the one consistent force that has been really above the law and really, the word you use, derailing democracy under one pretext or another. And as a critical thinker, you have really raised that point without actually stating the fact. But I accept that, because at the end of the day, you're a doctor and you're not a politician. So thank you very, very much, Dr. Khan, for your time. And if there's any last message that you want to give to the overseas Pakistanis, who, as you know, a number of them have contacted you and to our studios to show their anguish and frustration. And if there's anything that you would like to say, what would you say?
I think a couple of things. Well, thank you very much. I think the important part is that the change is going to happen from within Pakistan, not from outside. Right? I do not believe that people like me can bring the change there because I fled Pakistan about almost 40 years ago. I don't think I can bring a change there. It has to be where people living within Pakistan. I think they need to make the decision who should be ruling them, and they should make that decision very carefully, and they should get the right people elected for themselves. Whoever it is, whoever they feel is right, they should go for that. Democracy is not born in a day. It takes time. We need patience. We need tolerance here. And our society has to tolerate these things and try to build on it. I remember when I was a young lad, Bhutto Saab, if you remember, he was a person who attracted most of the youth at that time, and how they took him out. He was hanged. I couldn't believe it. We never thought that can happen. So I think these politicians need to be honest to the people, and they need to understand that today it's your turn, tomorrow it's going to be mine in the bar, behind bar, and they need to stand together on these some issues. Yes, they should fight on their manifestos, but there are certain issues on which they have to join together to say no, it's enough is enough now, and let's all move forward. I hope the elections which are coming in a week's time are peaceful, and I hope there is a peaceful transition. Whoever people decide to elect, I think they need to be honest to the people and make these changes so that no one can play with the democratic principles.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I think these are sham elections, frankly speaking. So much has happened, even the pre-election time. And I don't think anybody really believes that these are the elections which a democratic country should have. But only if the democracy is allowed to prosper and progress.
Yes.
That is the only thing. But then who will bell the cat, as they say?
No. But Suhail, if I remember, in my lifetime, there was one election which was a very fair election, right? That was in 70s. That was conducted at that. Yeah, that was conducted by a military government at that stage, right? And that election was the fairest election. But what happened? We didn't give power to the party which won the elections. Yeah. So it's not just the elections. It is the people. Politicians need to accept it, and they need to move forward with it, and not just make an excuse every time. Because we know what happened in 2017-18 elections. Opposition didn't accept it. Same is going to happen this time. Whoever wins, the opposition will not accept it. Prior to that, the elections which were held before that, same thing happened again. So this is unfortunately become our culture and our way of moving backwards rather than forward.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khan, for joining us. And now I'll move on to my next guest, Dr. Raja Nadeem Sajjad, who is also a community leader and a very well-known doctor here representing the doctors of Northern Europe. And we have been speaking to him earlier, and he is also concerned about the political situation in Pakistan and meddling of the establishment in this entire saga. So very warm welcome, Dr. Sajjad, and thank you for your time in a busy schedule that you have. We are doing this program today, as we informed you earlier, on the devastating decisions of the court against the ousted Prime Minister of Pakistan and also the former chairman of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf PTI, Imran Khan. And I know as a community leader, you have your hand on the pulse of the overseas Pakistanis. So I would like to hear your views on these kind of decisions.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you, Dr. Akhtar and Q News. I'm not surprised on this verdict because the people of Pakistan have been watching this saga since the inception of Pakistan. So there are so many prime ministers were kicked out, more brought in. We have seen one prime minister was hanged, and then we have seen a drama going on between two parties in 90s, and at the end they realized that they need to restore the supremacy of democracy. And then Bibi Shahid and former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif signed Charter of Democracy in London. I'm sure everyone remember that Charter of Democracy. So basically, they realized that they are being played, or they're like a puppet of the establishment. So they wanted to end the military intervention or military rule in Pakistan and restore the supremacy of democracy. But unfortunately, what we have seen, again, they are providing support to the establishment and going against their own counterparts, political leaders. So same thing is happening, and we have seen a new force was nurtured and brought up and groomed in 2011. And I'm not really surprised because former Prime Minister Imran Khan was, whatever his statement was, what we call at a bayaniya or a narrative, so what he was told to say against the other political parties and leaders, and what we have seen, so that government could not prove anything. We were only listening, corrupt. But nobody was sentenced on the basis of corruptions. And if we do remember, I do remember correctly, Bibi Shahid said kangaroo courts. So then the courts sentenced 3 times, 2 times life imprisonment to former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. And I think this will be happening if the political leaders do not realize their exact role. As a political activist, I believe in supremacy of democracy. So today I urge to all political leaders, please follow Charter of Democracy 2006, and then there will be end of such kind of verdicts. And as Bibi Shahid said, kangaroo courts will be used against the political leaders.
Yeah, you're right that this circus has been going on for a very long time, and not only in the late 80s on return of Benazir Bhutto, or Bibi as she was lovingly called, and even before, pretty much from 1950s onward, that somehow there was a hidden force that was ousting one prime minister to another, and then this game reached its pinnacle in 90s when within about 10 years, 4 governments were really ousted in a very unceremonious way. The question is this: who is the elephant in the room? Who to blame of this circuitry of political actors coming in and going out?
Everybody knows that what is going on and the forces behind all this, all these incidents, events. I like to mention 2 things. As I mentioned earlier, so in the early days of when Pakistan was a very young nation, so there were so many prime ministers, some served like 8 months, some 10 months, 9 months, and Nehru said, कि मैंने आज तक इतनी धोतियां नहीं बदली जितनी पाकिस्तान ने प्राइम मिनिस्टर तब्दील कर लिए हैं. And now I come to your question. If everyone does remember once General Zia-ul Haq said कि जब भी मैं बुलाऊं सियासतदान दुम हिलाते हुए चले आते हैं. So this is the answer of your question.
Yes, I think it's a pity that even in 2024, the politician appear not to come on a single page, which you could refer to the Charter of Democracy between the Pakistan People's Party and Benazir Bhutto, who was the chair of the Pakistan People's Party, and Mr. Nawaz Sharif, Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz Group. And that was a famous declaration that they will not go into cahoots with the military establishment. They will always uphold the law civil supremacy and democracy. Unfortunately, they have not learned the lesson. And you're absolutely right that a new force, a third force in the shape of Imran Khan, came in action. However, there is one anomaly here. Unlike the previous ousted prime ministers, this time a huge number of people are following Imran Khan. And that is the reason that there is a draconian measures, huge human rights violations, arrests, false accusations, hundreds and thousands of cases under one pretense or another, and finally, or even murders of political activists and the PTI leaders in particular. That presents a very gory picture of what is Pakistan currently. Considering all of these factors, and you being the leader of Pakistani community overseas, do you think it has tarnished the image of Pakistan amongst the overseas Pakistanis, and they will think 10 times before returning to Pakistan to serve their country as they once dreamt?
In fact, Pakistani image is always never ideal, or especially Western media never portrayed a good image of Pakistan in their media. And all these things, because nowadays we live in a global village and nothing is hidden because of the media and so many like a Facebook, TikTok, and all these things. So even small events are being watched everywhere. So no doubt. So Pakistani image is not good at the moment, especially whatever is going on in our homeland at the moment. But I must mention Western countries, they prefer really only to deal with one person, and especially if that person is not elected, because elected person, prime minister or or president, because they're answerable to parliament, to their people, and they do not accept many things. So whenever there are changes, especially in our area, so then Western powers, they bring somebody who is not elected. I think that is the reason. It's easy to deal with one person, rather dealing with the whole party, parliament, or who is answerable to the nation.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sajjad. It appears that you agree that democracy is the only way forward, because it's only through a democracy the state apparatus or the governments, they are answerable to people, and that is the only way the national resources of a country, they are spent and used in a proper, accountable manner for the benefit of the populace. So with that, we say thank you very much for your time, and I'm sure that you will grace our studio in future soon.
Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Mr. Sajjad, for coming in and giving your candid thoughts. Just like yourself, there are so many Pakistanis who are so much worried about what's going on in the homeland, and worried that the recent decisions by the court against Imran Khan will only fuel the divide between the political factions and also distance the people of Pakistan from the military establishment, because generally people believe that there's too much of a meddling by the military establishment in the civil matter, especially in these elections. And we hope that this will stop and Pakistan will regain its path on the democracy, because that is the only way the people will progress and prosper, translating their dreams into reality, and basically showing that they are able to bring their dreams into a real reality, just like they do in the democratic countries in the world. And there is definitely a space for this democratic process to continue in Pakistan. So thank you very much for watching this program. I'm Dr. Sohail Qureshi from Quews.news.